Right, good morning, or whatever time it is you're watching this. We're going to finish Isaiah 51 today, and this will probably be fairly short, but no guarantees. So, starts off fairly tough. The Cup of the Lord's Wrath is the title. Awake, awake, rise up, Jerusalem, you who have drunk from the hand of the Lord the cup of his wrath, you who have drained to its dregs the goblet that makes people stagger. Among all the children she bore, there was none to guide her. Among all the children she reared, there is none to take her by the hand. These double calamities have come upon you. Who can comfort you? Ruin and destruction, famine and sword, who can console you? Your children have fainted. They lie at every street corner. Like antelope caught in a net, they're filled with the wrath of the Lord, with the rebuke of your God. Now, the situation this is addressing is the Israelites in exile in Babylon, and that had followed the destruction of Jerusalem, the destruction of the temple, and of many other towns in Israel and Judah. It seemed that all was lost, and these things had happened because of their disobedience to God, their persistent disobedience. It wasn't just a one-off thing. It was time and time and time again. They've suffered for it. Indeed, the whole human race, we have suffered because of our disobedience to God. But at the beginning, remember, verse 17, it said, awake, awake. Things are going to change. Look at what it says now. Therefore hear this, you afflicted one. Made drunk, but not with wine. This is what your sovereign Lord says. Your God who defends his people. Now this was addressed to an utterly disobedient and rebellious people. And the human race is utterly disobedient and rebellious. Don't want anything to do with God. Reject his ways. But see how God still addresses them. This is what your sovereign Lord says. Your God who defends his people. We all belong to the Lord. Even if you're a complete atheist, even if you rebelled in the most horrendous, stubborn ways, you actually belong to God. And this is what God says. See, I have taken out of your hand the cup that made you stagger. You see, when we rebel against God, we find it doesn't work. We find that we're not actually as independent or as capable as we might think we are. And this past year should have proven that to the whole of the human race. I have taken out of your hand the cup that made you stagger. From that cup, the goblet of my wrath, you will never drink again. I will put into the hands of your tormentors, who said to you, fall prostrate that we might walk on you, and made your back like the ground, like a street to be walked upon. And that's what happened on the cross. Jesus took the cup of God's wrath upon himself. So that we could be set free. And the next few chapters are going to explain how that happens and the consequences of that happening. You know, we've got chapter divisions in the Bible. Some ways they're helpful. But in other ways, it's a pity. As this flows on to what we're going to get next. We need to appreciate the nature of sin. We need to appreciate the nature of God's wrath. People like to do away with it, pretend it doesn't exist. Oh, that's just an Old Testament concept. You know, if you say that, you're a complete lunatic. You know nothing. We need to appreciate God's wrath if we are to understand and appreciate the grace of God, the mercy of God. Amen.